What's up, people? This your boy KennyKlutch coming at you. Day 7 on 100 days of diversity. The road to Renaissance. Today we chilling at EWC, Ed Waters College, historical black university here in Jacksonville, Florida. We just made a walk-in touchdown. We're sitting in the gym, basketball gym, the greats. Just cool, and just want to touch on the mind frame right quick. Hit you in a little bit, talking about the magic of thinking big. Today's concept is just give what you have in your mind some fuel, because you never know who you'll meet. You know, the minute that you don't think that concept is worthwhile, you won't do anything with it. So today was kind of a dreary day, so I didn't have necessarily anything planned that would take up too much of my day, so I decided to use the half that I had unplanned to do a walk into the campus. So I was specifically looking for one person. Divine intervention guided me to another person in the counselor's office and spoke with them basically about contributing to the male side of the dorms and getting my speaking game into fruition on that level. So long story short, spend time with your dreams, because you never know who could help you with those dreams who you never met yet. So I walked over to the second place where I was initially trying to go, wind up being a gym. Look on the walls, they have Xavier University and Southern University, my alma mater, Southern University in New Orleans. So here it is, I'm way in Jacksonville. You give me a remembrance of how college life is by giving me a wall sign showing me that I could honor my enthusiasm to the students that's here on this campus by helping them think big. So today we're going to work with The Magic of Thinking Big by David J. Schwartz, PhD. When you think about big things happen by little progress. Big things happen over time. Sometimes you get the lucky bounce where, like right now we sitting in the gym thinking about basketball, you get a rebound, you get a takeaway. The first man hustle to the sideline to catch the ball before it go out of bounds. Those things are big game changers in the midst of the game. But what happens in the locker room? What happens when you go into halftime and you're down by 15, 20 points? What does the coach say to those teammates to help them continue to think big? So in your own game of life, think about those things that you want to do that are big thoughts, but we treating them like little dreams. And when we treat our big thoughts like little dreams, we get little results. So we want to make sure that we take these things considerably serious. All right, I want to read you something on the back. It's a thin book too. It's not too bad. It's old school, so a lot of folks have read it. But even if you never read it, it's real thin. You can kind of breeze through this real quickly. All right, so starting on the back. Set your goals high, then exceed them. Very important when you talk about goal setting. It's for college students. You have 4 years to go till you get to that piece of paper, and you also have to remind yourself that when you get to that piece of paper, you still got to come out and be competitive just like everybody else, especially your classmates. So when you set your goals high, you're not only shooting for the moon, but even if you miss, you're amongst the stars. So you're going to always exceed what you didn't set out to do, because a lot of times when we set goals, they're not really high enough to see our big aspirations anyway. Here's some things that the book claims that you will gain once you basically go through it and apply these concepts through your life. Number 1, believe you can succeed, and you will. Big belief happens from the inside out. Cure yourself of excuse-itis, the failure disease, and especially it's contagious too. Build confidence and destroy fear. How to think and dream creatively. Make your attitudes your allies. Get the action habit. How to turn defeat into victory. And last but not least, how to think like a leader. And these are all concepts that Dr. Schwartz has information on in the book, and he definitely goes into in-depth detail on these. But I want to jump directly to chapter 5 in this book because very, very important on some concepts on how to think and dream creatively. So when we talk about thinking big, you not only have to think big, but you have to create those dreams in order for the creativity within inside the dream itself to flourish. You know, if your dreams are small, then you're limiting your creativity. You know, I've heard before, if you could think it, you could be it. You know, it doesn't have anything to do with how it's going to get done. That's not your job. And that's the man upstairs' job on how it's going to get done. But taken from chapter 5, how to think and dream creatively. Page 69 directly. When you believe, your mind finds ways to do. That's just so important, because when you believe that something is supposed to happen, even if you can't see it happening in the direct step-by-step ways of it happening, then your mind is going to make it happen. You're going to put yourself together, you're going to plan it out, and even if the plan is abstract, it's going to come together in some sorts of fruition because you have set intentions on getting this thing done. Okay, let me jump over to page 71. Believe it can be done. That's basic to creative thinking. Here are 2 suggestions to help you develop creative power through belief. Number 1, eliminate the word impossible from your thinking and speaking vocabularies. My man Eric Thomas states all the time, impossible is nothing. He speaks in large volumes to groups all over the world, but he also mentions how when he pressed the book up, he sold a lot of the books from right out the garage, you know, and things happen so that the books can get sold, but some of those first batches had typos in it, you know, so you couldn't forecast the impossible things that got past you. That's water under the bridge, but it still didn't stop you from reaching your dream. Okay? Impossible is a failure word. The thought it's impossible sets off a chain reaction of other thoughts to prove you're right. So remember, the brain is neutral. It's the best superpower computer that's out there on this planet. Any government computer that's out there on the top ramps, the brain is more powerful than that. So if you program the mind to think that something's impossible and it's neutral, then all you're doing is giving it power to lean towards that impossibility. But if you remind yourself to bring it back into the middle, and then you empower your mind to think that impossible is nothing, then it will help you get out of your own way, so to speak, and make the impossible become possible. Tip 2, page 71. Think of something special you've been wanting to do but felt you couldn't. Now make a list of reasons why you can do it. Many of us whip and defeat our desires simply because we concentrate on why we can't, when the only thing worthy of our mental concentration is why we can. Think about that. You know, when you think that you can't do something, especially for the college student here on EWC campus, if you're seeing this, if you think you can't do something, you're already right. And so your brain is going to make a formula of patterns of activity to prove you right. If you think you can't pass the test, you're already right. If you think you can get a better grade in the class, you're already right. So it basically leaves a split in your mind based on which way you want to capitalize on those thoughts. And if you leave those thoughts neutral, and you don't add any positive power to them to one way or the other, then by default, they're going to go into self-sabotage mode. And that'll help your dreams stay stagnant in as quick a manner as I know of. Okay. All right. Another thing, too, we want to wrap this up. We think about how to think ingeniously, imagine thinking in big terms. You know, just want to skip to page 81, give you 3 little tips right quick. If you don't know already, the magic of thinking big starts with ideas. You know, some of the biggest corporations in the world were started on ideas. That's basically what it all boils down to, is having a good idea and finding folks in the universe to help make that idea happen. So this is page 81. So it is with ideas. Very few bear fruit. Ideas are highly perishable. If we're not on guard, the squirrels, which are negative thinking people, will destroy most of them. Ideas require special handling from time to time. They are born until they're transformed into practical ways for doing some things better. Use these 3 ways to harness and develop your ideas. 3 little quick tips on how to harness and develop your ideas. Number 1, don't let your ideas escape. And I fought that for a long time, having these ideas inside my head that didn't do anything but just stay there. I call it a ping pong theory. They went from one side of the head to the next, and they just kept ping ponging from one side of the head to the next indefinitely. But don't let the ideas escape. Write them down. Every day lots of good ideas are born, only to die quickly because they aren't nailed to paper. It's a sense of accountability. Your memory is weak, and it's a weak slave when it comes to preserving and nurturing brand new ideas. So when you get an idea, I don't care where you are, you might be in the bathroom, you might be driving, you might be at the red light. When you get an idea, make sure you can pull out that notepad and write it down, or that you have a pen and paper at the ready to capture that idea. Because I read somewhere that when you don't capture it, if you don't put that idea down on paper within the first 30 minutes of having access to it, then the most that you can recall from it once you get to a piece of paper, pen and paper, is only 70%. So what happens to the other 30%? It dissipates into the air. Okay? Carry a notebook or some small cards with you. When you get an idea, write it down. Don't let the ideas escape, else you destroy the fruits of your thinking. Fence them in. Okay, that's basically number 1. Step 2, tip 2. Next, review your ideas. File these ideas in an active file. The file can be an elaborate cabinet, or it can be a desk drawer. A shoebox will do. But build a file and then examine your storehouse of ideas regularly. As you go over your ideas, some may, for very good reasons, have no value at all. Get rid of them. But so long as the idea has any promise, keep it. That reminds me of how big or small your ideas are. Never denounce the value of them, because if you think that they're big or small, then you're kind of pre-weighting them, and you never allow them to have a sense of flight. My man John Maxwell reminds me in one of his books that you have to allow your thoughts to take flight and to take shape. And these things are basically a mandate. I think his book is thinking for a change. Okay, and last but not least, number 3, cultivate and fertilize your idea. Now make your idea grow. Think about it. Tie the idea to related ideas. Read anything you can find which is in any way akin to your idea. Investigate all angles. Then, when the time is ripe, put it to work for yourself, your job, and your future. That can't be said any better, because timing a lot of times is not on your time. Thinking is not on your thoughts, because those ideas were given to you for a reason. And they weren't meant to just sit in your head and die. So in order to cultivate those ideas, stirring up those crafts, continue to building up those gifts, you'll be able to help somebody in the future by doing those processes that usually don't get done. So hit your boy up. This your boy KennyKlutch coming out of Jacksonville, Florida, here on the campus of EWC, Ed Waters College. Thank y'all for y'all support. The magic of thinking big, Dr. David Schwartz. Go get you some. Education is free, but you definitely have to pay time. Man, do you have to pay time. Gotta pay time and attention. That's the cost of admission. KennyKlutch, KennyKlutch@gmail.com. It's your boy KennyKlutch out of Jacksonville, Florida, hitting you up day 7. Road to Renaissance. The EWC Tigers. What's up, baby? HBCU. I'm in the gym, working it out. Holla at your boy. Y'all be cool. What's up, New Orleans? Wow.